Hello, my little weirdos. It is the weekend. It's cold, it's windy. Um, but I want to do a very fast addressing of some things that the tangerine toddler has been saying about the ongoing 5 different fires burning in California. And he was saying that it's incompetence, and even Hannity was like, showed the 3 women of the in charge of firefighters, that stuff, and acting like either because they're women or because one's lesbian, that it's like this, that they're incompetent. It's like the same comments of, I wouldn't feel safe if it's not a white straight male flying the plane. Made a comment about if a woman was flying the plane, we'll even get there type of thing. Them with directions kind of crap. Well, one of the comments made was that the governor in California turned off the taps to the water, so they're just going back to the ocean. This is the facts, and I know President Biden tried to dispel this myth too. What happened was utility companies, because of the high wind and the already roaring fires, turned off the power, because if the wind blows down power lines, that's going to create even more fires, and deadly if it whips and hits somebody. So they turned the power off, which makes sense. But that turned the power off to switch it to for the water. So they couldn't access it without the power on. And that is what the delay was. It was not incompetence. It was actually trying to get ahead of maybe a future problem that's just going to compound it and make it worse. Thus, they, like I said, turned the stuff off, but inadvertently that affected accessing the water. The reserves, before these fires broke out, were full. Okay? There's no shortage of water. And this is the person that you guys voted in. Okay? The person who's supposed to be taking over as leader of this country in 2 weeks is sitting there pointing fingers and blaming and laughing at a state because they didn't vote for him, and thinks he knows everything. Apparently, maybe we should have raked the forests more. They actually do dead growth removal. There are programs for that. Even when he said that years ago. But please do not believe that there was no water, they weren't prepared, they're just buffoons. None of that is true. In one company attempting to avert more catastrophes and compound the issues, did an intelligent thing, a logical thing. It just inadvertently, it's very difficult to think in crisis, even when you are trained for it, okay? Because the natural reaction is not, okay, calm down, with chaos all around. Your head, the human brain that's not dysfunctional or lacking complete, empathy or something like that, would automatically think, oh my God, help, what can we do, help, Well, most of us, or a lot of us, that's the first reaction in a crisis. Am I okay? Is everybody I care okay? Okay, what do we do? How do we get out? It's not me, I have to get out, let me out, Some people are like that, but not everybody. And at least half the country isn't. So that is what the issue was with getting water quickly to areas. It had nothing to do with the fire departments. It had nothing to do with the governor, and it had everything to do with utility companies trying to do the right thing, which is the correct thing. But in the, and I'm not meaning to be funny, in the heat of the issue, and needing something right now, sometimes you don't have time to think through all the angles of a plan of action. Sometimes you don't have that time. You need to decide, do we need to take care of this now, or is that going to cause a problem? That's normal human stuff. The fact that they ascertained, oh shit, you guys did that, but you didn't remember about this. That's what it was. Unfortunate, absolutely. Disastrous, yeah, just let it burn fat more. But it was by no means by negligence. Like MAGA Republicans are very diligently attempting to convince everybody. And let me just say, for all of you who voted for Red Party, for Republican this time, and for all of those who voted for him and now are starting to either seriously regret it or starting to think, he never mentioned Elon. He never he never mentioned messing with social media. He never mentioned, other than TikTok. For all of you people, hopefully this right here, right before he's ready to come into office, should be a precluding, a warning, a preface. It should also be ringing those bells that have started to ring in your head that maybe I shouldn't have voted for him. Maybe he's not necessarily telling us the truth. He's saying he wants to do all this, but he can't. If you're even close to that, pay very close attention on how from here on out, how when things either happen in America or even other parts of the world, of the planet, pay attention to, one, how he responds, actions and words, versus how not only the other party responds to the same issue, but how the rest of the freaking planet responds to those issues. And if the way that the MAGA Republicans respond to an issue, like making lies, and quadrupling down on them, if they're the only ones holding a particular point of view or perspective or belief, and they're the only ones not only in the country but in the planet, 50,000 Frenchmen can't be wrong, kind of thing. Now, on occasion with a whistleblower or something like that, that is true. They are the one or two or three people screaming about something are telling the truth. But for the majority of the time, in situations like this isn't a whistleblower situation. This is just a catastrophe happening, and a person seeing that and decides to lie about it and make the people trying to help and fix the disaster as incompetent and such, just because of their political leanings, is absurd. I mean, honestly, do yourself a favor if you're wishy-washy with them, and seriously hold that magnifying glass up and look in that mirror. Although a magnifying glass is not a mirror, you get what I'm saying. And try to put the cult mentality aside for just moments, and understand that world leaders mocked him his first term. They gave him the benefit of the doubt for like the first year or two, but they all had a pretty good grip on it. And it's the same grip that Democrats, progressive slash, liberal, have. So we see what's going on. And just trust what you're seeing and hearing. Your first gut reaction when you see or hear something. Because I will remind you that just about every single one of your cult leaders, your secondary subordinate leaders to the Tangerine, all denounced on January 7th what happened 4 years ago. All of them said his behavior was disgraceful. That was the moment of truth. I just wish, and everybody, has said to me in comments, well, maybe you're the one that should maybe just see Trump's not that bad. The only reasons that everything that he has promised he will do, he wants to do, the only time those are going to be stopped is when Democratic slash liberal slash progressive folks in the Congress knock it down, and in the states when it comes for like, well, we want to immigrate your state, deport people, and I just wish those who claim to be religious Christians and also absolutely, completely believe in Trump, they're the ones that keep saying to me, you really should reevaluate your perspective. But I digress. You guys should be reassessing your perspectives, because, like I said, world leaders from every country, even the countries and the world leaders that he is jealous of, that he wants to be, even those and that is not a balanced person. When the only people that he shows, not only shows respect, but fawns over them, and is basically being a pick-me guy, a pick-me dude, desperate to get the attention. The people that he acts that way to and gives reverence, respect, and compliments to are the exact leaders that the rest of the countries on this planet abhor and look down on with disgust, because they're greedy, selfish, narcissistic, cruel, sadistic, you name it, misogynistic. Now, when a person only respects those people, is that really someone that's espousing your values? Because if he really does, I am sorry to inform you that means you're just like him. If you're okay with that stuff that a person like that does, then you stand for what they stand for. If you don't verbalize, I do not agree with that, then you're condoning it. And that is just the fact. That is what happened with the Nazis in Germany. They were good people, but they just they just were looking out for themselves, and they just didn't speak up and say, hey, what the hell did Jewish people do? You know, you're not explaining why they're evil. Please explain it to me, sir. Instead of that, they were fearful, which is exactly... And the thing is, they're fearful of... Then it was Hitler, here it's Trump. But in their early days of those people, the people that were around them knew that they were full of it. But they didn't say anything. They didn't tell anybody, because it would be embarrassing, and they might disclose a skeleton you have. That's what I mean by afraid. It's not always they're afraid that they'll be arrested or something, which is also a fear, or doxxed or harassed, or pointed out, such, I get being afraid of that. I do. But there comes a point for each person where they have to decide, are they going to be the silent condoning? Because there's no such thing as a silent resistance. I mean, it can be silent verbally, but your actions are obviously showing what your beliefs are. That is the only silent resistance that I can comprehend. Because by being silent, you're watching somebody get raped and murdered, and you don't speak up. I get you don't want to be raped or murdered either. But when you don't speak up for the wrongs that are being done in your presence, verbally or action, who do you think is going to be left when all of those people have been disposed of or used? Then it's only people like you who just kept their heads low, kept their eyes forward, and didn't get into anybody else's business, even if it's to defend themselves, even if they're having a crime committed against them. Nope, just keep your shit straight. Don't get anybody angry with you. It's not like I don't understand the self-preservation thing, but your altruistic capabilities, abilities, however you want to phrase it, that is what's going to determine what kind of person you are in the midst of a crisis. And there's short-term crises like crashes, things like that, fires, floods, natural phenomena, that type of disasters, and or health things. There's a lot of disaster scenarios of different types. Yeah, I'm still not completely yelled. My voice is already starting to go. But there's long-term crises, like what we're going into 4 years. A lot of us are looking at it like something that you're going to have to deal with 24/7 kind of thing for 4 years. That would be considered a long-term crisis. And if you do all the freaking and panicking and exerting all your energies and thought processes on the flipping out part, or the distress part, let's say, you're not going to have the steam like in a marathon to run to get to the end and accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So, and I do find it funny that all those people saying, Democrats are such crybabies, look at them cry, they're so sad. No. What you're seeing is the memory of the last 4 years of you guys. You have spent 4 years saying it was stole, or as the pillow dude says, stoled. It was stoled. That's what he says. He says a lot of things that are not correct English. Actually, the word is, it was stolen, not stoled. That's another thing. Communication. Y'all need to learn how to communicate in your written and verbal language. Seriously, people. Because I have heard Republicans so many times say, oh, Democrats just are misunderstanding. You're just misunderstanding that. Well, comprehension is a two-way street. You have to have somebody that can do critical thinking and make the connections for comprehension. But the two-way street is the one that's doing the informing has to do it adequately enough and competently enough that it's able to be understood. It's like the use of a comma. One word change makes all the difference. The typical one used to explain that is the Bible, the part of the Bible verse that says when Jesus said to the criminal next to him, crucified, said, surely I promise you, surely you will be with me in paradise, or however it's said. Surely I tell you today, comma, you will be with me in paradise. Move the comma. Surely I tell you today you will be with me in paradise. Well, now that's just two different meanings, isn't it? One has a specific time, and the other is an open-ended comment. Very different. And it's not any different with political and if you find yourself constantly saying you're misunderstanding, and I get they say that to gaslight, but if somebody's always saying, if a lot of other people are always saying to you, or often saying, well, you're not understanding it. Well, maybe you're not explaining it in an understandable way. I just read 3 different things today. One to me personally, a comment. No, not one punctuation, not an apostrophe, not one capitalization, not one period, comma, colon, semicolon, exclamation point, question mark, and they did ask a question. None. And then when you point that out to them, they say, well, you understood it. Doesn't matter, you understood it. I got my point across. And I say, but I had to read it 4 times to finally get the gist of what I think you were saying. So if somebody has to read something more than one time to understand what you're saying, and they're an intelligent person, and they know how to speak and write correctly, then it's you. Yeah, I understood it, but a lot of people are not going to read something after the second time if it still sounds like a bunch of jumbled, I don't know when to breathe, when's the end of the thought, when's another thought starting. Most people, after the first time, would be like, oh, fuck this shit. I'm not going to decipher it. I'm reading it. I shouldn't have to decipher and translate it, too. And some will go second time, but very rarely does somebody read something 4 times so they can understand it. And the reason it's 4 times is because I'm putting commas in different places to see if that made sense. So, yeah, I understood it, but I wasted 4 times the amount of time, and we would have been done with this conversation by now. If you'd written it so it was comprehensible. And yet I get the same response from him. Well, you understood it enough to answer, so what does it matter? It's times like these that I just go, oh. There are people out there that do understand how to write. Oh my God, there are people out there that do know how to write. There are people out there that do know how to communicate. It's like I have to mantra my way through oh my God, the amount of stupidity and I call it deliberate ignorance, because there is no reason other than just your mental capability, not for intellect not being super high. And I'm not saying that dissingly. If you have a normal intelligence, at least a normal intelligence, which most do, you should be able to understand that if somebody said they had to read it 4 times and other people just have laughy emojis, that's telling you that you're made no sense at all. But of course, people like that are very not self-aware. But basically, the thing that I mainly wanted to come in right now to say is the whole lie about water not being available. They're giving it to the smelt and in the ocean. First of all, why would you be giving fresh water to a saltwater animal? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I mean, I understood what he was trying to get at, but reality says WTF. It was simply they turned the utilities off, the companies turned them off, fearing that the winds were going to blow that stuff down and start problems. Without realizing to start the water flow, kind of need the power on. Nothing negligent about it. It's just trying to think in chaos. And, oh shit, yeah, duh, I forgot that. That makes complete sense. Even your gas stove, even certain, like, things that don't run on electricity, need electricity to start it. And that's not uncommon. You're like, oh, water and electricity don't mix. They never touch each other. But the point is, the reserves were full. It just was a delay in the fact that delay made things much worse was only not necessarily the delay, but because not only was there fire, but the winds have been huge because of the storms going across the Midwest and coming out, or coming in through the east, or the north. But it had nothing to do with negligence or being gay or being female or being stupid. The only one stupid there was the tangerine person, who made that comment to begin with. So, with that, my thoughts are with you guys in California. I think Steve Gutenberg may have lost his home. I'm not sure. I know Jeff Daniels, was it Jeff Daniels? Lost his home. And just because people are celebrities doesn't make it any less catastrophic. Well, they have money to get another home, but all their memories, all their things, their photos, their pets were in those homes. And no matter how rich you are, you can't just replace it and it's just like it was. It's not. Now, for some public figures, they're narcissistic, self-involved, they act like celebrities. You know, the only difference between public figures and you and I, they're known for the job they work at. That's all. It's still a job. It doesn't, they're still working. How does that mean that they're special? Just because their job makes them seen all the time. I mean, there's people, you know, the stock photos, like people that model and they have pictures taken so companies can use that in their ad, even though you have no concept they're even using. You know what I'm saying? It's a stock photo, you get paid for that, and when it's used, type of thing. But it's not like you immediately always know every single person. You know, their face is out there, but it's not like they get any special privileges either. You see what I'm saying? So just because actors or singers or politicians or anybody, activists that have a known name, known face, they're still people. And they need to understand that from both ends. People need to understand that and stop acting like them gifting you with an autograph or something is like, oh my God, you should be revered. I have always found that to be silly. It's one thing to, but you don't see people going up to servers and saying, oh my God, your people, servers, man, they have so, you don't see them gushing about, oh, you handled that asshole, that rude person, or that cruel person so well, you really let them know it, you know, that what they're doing is wrong. People don't do that to others. Not all heroes wear capes. Not all heroes get grease face makeup. Meaning before the cameras. And why people, sports people, yeah, they're awesome at their job, you love them, they're great. End of story. I don't wear, the only people I would wear like shirt or something with their face on it, somebody like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Jane Goodall, I mean people that really changed things planet-wise for the good. Yeah, I can see like, wow, that's an awesome human being. But it's not like if they touch you, you're gold. If anybody explained to me how that ridiculously fawning stuff, I mean, being like, oh my God, like, what do I say? Yeah, there are some people I would be like that with. Tom Hanks, Keanu is the actual pronunciation, I believe. Reeves, people like that, I would. Dolly Parton, you know, a lot of people have no idea the amount of charity she does. Hello. Yes, Raspy. Everybody sees you. That is my cue to say, okay, I get it, Raspy. Time to end it. Anyway, let me know seriously what you guys, your opinions on the fawning and the ridiculousness, the way people treat public figures sometimes. It's just, I mean, is there something I'm missing? That they should be adored and worshipped and, fawned over and get special privilege and get to cut lines, and they're just a person doing a job. They just get paid a lot more than they should get paid for a job, much like CEOs. And it's a job that's a publicly, you're in front of a camera. News people, things like that. They're just news people, but they become celebrities because they're in front of a national camera lens. Anyway, I would very much like to hear your views on all of this. Some of it, one thing of it. Please, let's get a discussion, a civil discussion, and keep it on topic. This has nothing to do with go maga, okay, or Trump's your daddy, or shave your blue hair, I'm making you an order. Okay. See how much I think of your order. But yeah, I'm just, it puzzles me. It always has puzzled me. I am in awe of some people just because they're such a good person. It's not because, oh my God, you're so gorgeous. It's, oh my God, you're such a good person. You are such a good person. That's what gets me fawning over somebody. Why do people fawn over, rich people or people that are in front of the camera all the time? They're just doing their job. Now, if they did all that, and sometimes they did it without getting paid millions, then yeah, that's pretty cool. They believed in this project, and they did it because they believed in it, not because they wanted the money. And other people needed to see it. That I can get behind. That I can be like, God, I'm a little in awe type of thing. Absolutely. Being excited to meet somebody that you think is a good person, that's a public figure. Yeah, I get it. Just be like, oh, fangirly kind of thing. But not like bending the knee, oh my God, and where some people like cry, like when the Beatles and stuff. I never understood. I do to a certain bit, but at a certain intensity of that appreciation, where it's just anything they do, say, or have, you believe or buy. That I don't understand. I mean, I understand the workings of how that works, but I don't understand why somebody is prompted to engage in it and act like, oh my God, if J-Lo just talked to me, just had a conversation with me, I would just die, kind of thing. Oh, Harry Styles, oh my God, he shook my hand. No, it's not on that level. But anyway, gonna go get something for this throat. Peace out. Oh, I'm gonna go open that window more. It's getting sunny now. So, peace out. And I really am curious on your thoughts. A real civil, complete sentence on topic. Comment. All right. Peace out.